It describes these orchards in the monastery. It describes it gives a fairly detailed description of life in this monastery. For a long time, it was thought that the monastery was in Greenland, because on the map, the Zeno map, it says that the monastery is in Greenland. But if you read the narrative closely, you understand that in fact the monastery was in Iceland, and it makes much more sense, because in Iceland there are a lot of warm springs, and there are a lot of volcanoes, and so I looked for this monastery in Iceland, and the journey was fascinating in the sense that I don't think that I have found proof that that was the monastery that the Zen were talking about, but certainly the story becomes very plausible, and I think this is the key. After having spent a great deal of time both in the archives and on the road visiting these various places, my own conclusion is that we will probably never find out the entire truth. No one will ever be able to prove that the voyages actually took place or did not take place. But my own view is that the voyages are very plausible, and there is a great deal of candor in the story. And there are also wonderful glimpses that are worthwhile pursuing. And I was very much influenced, I think, along the way by what Alexander Humboldt, the great German geographer of the 19th century, wrote about this story. He said that he had read it very carefully, and he had found a great deal of candor in it, and a great deal of descriptions that these Venetians could not have learned from other sources except their own voyages. But I'll read a passage by Humboldt himself, because he is a man so full of wisdom and knowledge and experience that I was very influenced by his view, and especially by his empathy about this is something that is remarkable when you, having looked at this story, the degree of animosity and venom towards these Venetians. It's really surprising. I mean, we are after all talking about a map that was put together allegedly several centuries ago, and it's hard to understand how a geographer in the Victorian age like the Danish admiral could feel such animosity, such anger, he uses such strong words. He accuses Niccolo the Younger of being an evil forger and so on. All of this is very surprising, and I realized that each of these judgments are really an emanation of the age in which they are expressed. Here is Humboldt saying, if the book on the Zeni was a fiction designed to obscure the glory of Columbus, the editor, that is, Niccolo Zen the Younger, would have endeavored without doubt to connect the Venetian discoveries in some way with those of the Genoese navigator. And then he goes on to say, the naked details, the absence of recrimination or offensive remarks, remove, in my view, all suspicion of imposture. But the extreme confusion that prevails in the numerical data of distance and sailing days shows the want of order in the arrangement of the matter and the sad conditions of the manuscripts. In other words, it is really a sloppy job that Niccolo the Younger did, albeit in good faith. This is really my conclusion. I mean, I will not go into the details of my research and the book that I am completing about the topic. Maybe we can go into that in greater detail during the conference the audio conference when I will be taking questions, and I will be glad to answer specific questions about the story and even of certain geographical parts of the map, from Frislanda to Islanda to Ingroverland and so on. There is, however, one point I'd like to make from the outset, and that goes back to the visit of the American tourist in Venice, which really sparked my interest in this story. It has been said over the years that based on the Zen voyages, based on the travels in the book and the map, that these Venetians, together with Henry Sinclair, an important Scottish laird, traveled to the coast of North America, made a landing, and established a colony. I know this is a very controversial issue. My own view is that I find the whole field of investigation about pre-Columbian colonization of North America a fascinating one, and I'm very happy to hear all sorts of tracks are being pursued by amateurs and by academics as well. However, it is my feeling that the story of the Zen brothers cannot be used as a base for any claim suggesting that colonies were established in North America. The text itself, the narrative of the Zen voyages, does not say that. The text of the original Italian says that they reached what could possibly be Newfoundland or some part of North America, and were repelled by the natives. And then they sailed back towards what was probably, in my view, probably Greenland. It has been said that, on the other hand, that they sailed southwest to Nova Scotia and New England. I think, however, that this conclusion is based on a translation mistake that was made back in the 16th century when Richard Hakluyt, the great British geographer, translated for the first time in English the text of the Zen voyages, and makes a fatal mistake in translating. And the specific word he mistranslates is the name of a wind, which in Venetian is called Garbino. And Garbino is a wind from the southwest towards the northeast, and not the other way around. And my fear is that this simple mistake in translation has caused a lot of confusion and has contributed to the notion that the Zen brothers, together with Henry Sinclair, established a colony in North America. I do want to emphasize that the Zen voyages cannot be used as a base to claim that there was a British Venetian colony established in North America. So I'll leave it to that for the moment, and hope to be able to talk to you at length, more at length, during the audio conference. Goodbye.